R.A.G.E is your organization, right? What is it?
R.A.G.E is the Resident Association of Greater Englewood. It's a group of residents from all 6 wards of Greater Englewood who have kind of came together to be a sound voice for the community and to work on some tangible solutions that can maybe help impact the community here in Englewood.
You know, my passion is this, very simple. Do you think in Englewood, or any neighborhood like Englewood here in Chicago, can we have clean neighborhoods? Or let's say a clean Englewood, a safe Englewood,
Yep.
and an Englewood with excellent public schools? Is it possible?
I think it's possible. I think it's pockets of that already that exist in Englewood. Clean alleys, kids who go to great schools. It's a nice private school here. And I think that it is some nice public schools that can work. We just need to kind of spread that same existence amongst the whole entire community. So it does exist in small pockets, and it just needs to expand.
I spoke to many schools via the Black Star Project, and I'm always astonished. In the midst of hell, that you see a classroom and some students who are just brilliant.
Brilliant. There's
in the midst of hell.
Yeah, it's some over here. It's plenty over here. It's a couple, at least a couple.
But like I always ask people off camera, how do we get into the minds of that mother or that grandmother who's raising that 10-year-old boy, that 5-year-old boy, to raise that boy properly so he doesn't terrorize the neighborhood between 15 and 25?
The mind is extremely powerful. It's extremely powerful. The only real way that you can really get into the minds is first by example. We have to actually show those mothers, those grandmothers, those kids, these different examples, these alternative, another way of thinking. And so if we could do that dose by dose, I always say small doses of that can make the greatest impact. So I just think you have to be an example, and then from that point on, pull them in the fold and get them engaged.
I could be wrong, Ay-Sha, but people would get offended if bougie Negroes or pseudo-bougie Negroes like me came down. I only live 30 blocks away.
Right.
But if I came over here and said, I'm going to help you poor Negroes,
yeah,
they would get offended.
Yeah, and they are offended because bougie Negroes, as
yes,
you say,
I'm pseudo-bougie.
Are doing that now.
Yeah.
A lot of the people who come into the community that really give back to help at these social agencies who are at these schools come from this kind of, I had to go to school, we have to help the poor, and it's a different kind of mindset where it's not it's a sympathy, I guess a sympathy approach instead of an empathy approach. These are our people. We are all one people. And so how do we kind of connect the dots regardless of you got a master's degree and this person didn't get out of 8th grade. So that's what's missing. That's the piece that's missing. And I think the ones who stay, like me, myself, who still live here, I could still be there and be that example where, you know, the bougie ones from outside the community, they just need to kind of get real and get rid of the textbooks and be here, be on the blocks.
But how do you do that? Because some people, and me at times, because I'm like most Americans, you know, paycheck to paycheck, we want people to cook the fish, fry it up,
Right.
give us some white bread and some hot sauce. We don't want nobody to teach us how to fish.
Right.
Give me some fish.
Right.
How do you change that mindset from a you know, I want you to give me something versus I want you to help me succeed?
I think that's still a mental shift that has to happen. I think before we can talk about anything that's happening in the community, and I was just talking to somebody else the other day about this, it has to be a healing that takes place. I mean, some type of example that we show healing, that we know we went through hell basically, but how do we heal from that, grow spiritually, and then really start attacking the issues? And so all that again is a mindset. The things we have on TV, the things that's on the radio, the things that's happening on our block. You know, if we shift those, just shift them in small doses, people mindsets will start changing. I know from R.A.G.E and the people I work with in Englewood, they look at Englewood differently now since joining R.A.G.E.
What do you mean they look at Englewood differently?
We look at it as opportunity. This is an enterprise. Englewood is a actual enterprise that could be shaped and molded and could be what we was talking about, a brick town street on Racine. Like we can make this whatever we want it to be, and people know that. And we're young and we're ready, and so it could be a Brooklyn. We can make this little area, a little pocket of Chicago, feel like Brooklyn if we wanted to. Thriving, commercial space.
So you're talking about like like if you were Harlem,
like
Harlem
Wicker Park, like a Wicker Park.
Right. Let's say a Harlem Renaissance. You need a Inglewood Renaissance.
Yeah, so we need an Inglewood Renaissance, and I love it.
I mean, but I'm saying
Yeah.
that's where you try because
That's
what
what
you're
we
trying to do hope. See, and that's where the arts come in.
Yeah, we love the arts.
African Americans, we just I know I'm gonna pull back. I'm gonna pull back and show it.
This
But the
is
point
art.
is that we should use that foundation of art to
No.
take it off because we got talent.
Yeah, and we love art. We love music. We love that's in our blood. That's what we are innate. We love to hear music. We love to look at art. I mean, that's what the majority of us are. And a lot of us who live in the community are artists in our own rights. I love doing graphic designs. I love doing marketing. We all have some artistic creativity inside of us that we just need to tap into.
But I like to go back to let's go back to parenting because you have children, right?
I have a daughter. Yes.
Okay, you have a daughter.
13.
Ooh, I mean, she ain't turned on you yet. It's coming up.
We have our
It's only 13. Wait till she's 16, 17.
It's an interesting space that she has me in right now.
You know, I have a 15-year-old daughter, and, you know, I was great a few years ago. Now I'm a schmuck. You know what I'm saying? So I understand.
Yeah, she thinks I'm very lame.
The lame is the perfect word. That's how I'm lame at home. Daddy's lame.
Yes.
But that's what I like to talk about. Many of us do not like to talk about how we're raising these children.
Right.
I always tell folks off camera. I say you can talk all that yang you want. What's the neighborhood school right over here where we are? Banneker, right? They say, would you send your son or daughter to Banneker? And would you send your son or daughter from Banneker to Robeson?
Right.
See?
You asking me?
No, I'm saying rhetorically. See,
Yes.
people talk that yang,
Right.
but really most of us,
You wouldn't.
we don't really want, and not to say anything bad about the students in Robeson and Banneker.
Right.
Is that we want to keep our children out of sight of the hood and that hood mentality and to be infected with that
Right.
ghetto-ness.
Right.
But
You don't want
But-
them of the hood.
how do we go to Benjamin Banneker School and help that first grader, that kindergartner, that fourth grade young man who's struggling, does not like school at fourth? How do we do that?
Give an hour of your time. Go give an hour, stand on a corner, maybe help out with safe passage, maybe see if it's any tutoring that you can do within the school. I think that's what has to happen. I think the community has to make every school feel like a community school, where you back and forth, you hanging at the front desk, and everybody in the community knows the cop, the nurse down the street, the parent. You know, we all know each other again, and that's what's missing. We don't
Name another
like
feeder
that.
school. Let's name a feeder school to Robeson or Harper High School.
Parker is for Robeson. Parker is another feeder school. It's a charter inside of Parker.
Okay, what's another regular school?
Harper feeder school would be O'Toole.
O'Toole, yeah, I've been O'Toole a bunch of times.
I have a lot of kids from the program I'm in that goes to O'Toole.
No, it's on Sealy, right?
It's on Sealy.
Yeah, Sealy. Now, O'Toole, now, like I said, that's the whole thing. If you were a young man, because I struggled in third and fourth, fifth grade when I was in school 100 years ago, and you say, I don't like school, how do you help that young man who's struggling in third or fourth grade, fifth grade, to get him to like school? You may not get straight A's.
Right,
How do you check? Because that's what I repeat the question because that's the core.
No, you
that's
have
the
to
problem.
you have to do some creative alternative education. You can't do the same cookie cutter education that's happening. If it's some people that are maybe a little challenged in terms of how structured the school system is, you may have to be just a little more wacky and more art with the student. You have to kind of meet the students where they are. You can't expect that student to do the same as the A students is doing in the class. So you have to find an alternative that can help that person learn. All of us have different ways of learning.
When that young man, I don't care if he's in 8th grade or 4th grade or even 3rd grade, mom or grandmama, if they're home, they may be working, will let that young boy come home from school and run around in the street.
Yeah.
Some mothers, some fathers, they just say it's okay for the young man. Where does this come from? It's okay to hang out in the street.
It's a bigger issue with the black community. It's a bigger issue with the black community. We have, education is not at the top of our priority list. It's not at the top of our priorities. So we do let our kids kind of, they come home, they do their homework. We don't pay attention. We let them watch TV. Whereas the other, I would say, ethnic groups are a little bit more poised when it comes to education. That's the first thing on the priority list. There's no TVs in the home. There's no TVs in the bedroom. Black folks, we have 4 or 5 TVs in our house.
So it's cultural.
It's a cultural thing.
It's a cultural thing. So it's cultural where, let's say grandma's at home.
Right.
And she watching whatever, Jerry Springer, whoever's on.
Bad Girls Club.
Whatever, bad. I hope not.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But when LaShawn come home from school,
Right.
Ray and Poopy. or whatever, or and they sisters and they cousins. She got to cut the TV off.
Right. Yeah. Or
It's homework time.
Exactly. Well,
how do you change that? How do you change that consciousness?
This is 400 years.
I know.
You know, this is 400 years
That's
of
right.
a doing.
That's right.
So we can't think that we're going to be,
Like that.
turning it around like that. This
Wow.
is 400 years of a doing to a people that has had their mentality stripped of any type of consciousness, logical thinking. That this is torture what they did to us. I mean, I always say, y'all won. Okay, let's stop now.
Well, people they say right now, Ay-Sha, they say that's an excuse.
No.
Oh, the white man brainwashed us, the slavery and the remnants of slavery. That's all bunk.
But a true revolution never happened. A true revolution of our people to really say, as one, let's stand up as one. When has that happened? Since
we got close. We got
close
in the Black Power days.
We got close.
We got real close. Yeah,
and I think
close.
we on our bridge to get close again. It's no way we can still take this, and that's what I think is going to happen in 2012. It's going to be a spiritual revolution because if the powers to be come out of our people, I hate to say it like this, we will take over the entire world.
I know, but that's why they hold us down. I know that.
So you gotta keep us down. It's too powerful on the inside.
All what we do, it really comes down to that young man, or especially I say men because they cause all the trouble and whatnot, and to deindustrialize America that does not need black folks anymore. I mean, it's really critical now.
Yeah.
It's really something. But to tell that mama, or that grandmama, that you got to start in preschool basically.
You gotta start. No, you gotta.
Don't say the womb now.
No, you have to start within.
Okay.
That's first.
Okay.
Before even preschool, before you go within.
Okay.
And that light that everybody have that can spark, to say greatness, and you kind of have these values that come from that greatness. If that started in our people first, we will have a revolution.
Yeah, but it comes down to breaking that habit of coming home from school and not doing your homework.
Right.
It's breaking that habit where you come in the house, you come in the house and the radio's off and the TV is off.
Right.
How do we break that?
Mental shift.
Who's gonna come in? The preacher gonna come in and tell that mama to do that?
It can't be a preacher. It has to be small doses of example.
Some preachers could.
It has to be small doses of example. So
well, who is gonna set that example? Who gonna come in at home and say, "Mama, come on, you can't let your teenage boy hang out in the street."
The neighbor, the community at large, the older lady maybe on the block, maybe a younger person who's mentoring a fifth grader, maybe somebody about 15 who has an interest in it, just to be like, look, let's do this homework. If mom and grandma are not with the game, all of us have to be intact, and all of us have to almost help each other through that fold.
I have a theory, and we talked about this off the air, and I talk about it off the air all the time. I really believe that some of us, because hurt people, and a lot of us, including me, we hurt. For whatever reason, we hurt. Hurt.
400 years.
I know, hurt.
I'm not blaming slavery,
so we have. I think it's a subconscious manifestation that we don't want our children to really succeed. Because I'm telling you, I've seen it. Because if you have a child within about 10 years, depending on your education level, your child is smarter, academically smarter than you.
Yeah.
I have teenagers; they're smarter than me. But since we're 30 years apart, I'm not intimidated by their academic acumen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But some parents would be intimidated by this little boy who's actually can read better than me. Right. And I'm 40 years old, 30, but I got this 10-year-old who can read better than me. That's intimidating.
Right.
I think subconsciously they hold that child back.
Yeah, I mean, but if that is the case, I mean, I would say, what are the cases we can save? If it is that if that's happening, what are maybe the 5 others that we can break that cycle with? I mean, we ain't gonna save everybody. We ain't gonna save. I'm not saying we're gonna try to save everybody, yeah. But I'm saying that it's rewarding to save some. You don't.
So if you somebody. Let's go back to the original question. What does R.A.G.E do?
R.A.G.E, we do a lot. I mean, we really do work in terms of uplifting the community in general. So we serve on educational councils and serve as chairs of certain educational councils here. We have developed youth programming here in Englewood. R.A.G.E also have shed light on the political forefront in terms of automatic accountability. We are looking into redistricting our community to be one House district, one Senate district. So we're doing remapping, TIF, transparency issues, relaying information in general to residents, just informing them and educating them.